What's up, you guys? Keith Demel here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the costs as well as the requirements to be a flight instructor in Canada. Stay tuned. The advantage of being a flight instructor is that you get to teach students how to fly an airplane. I find no better way in order to learn a certain subject unless you're actually teaching it. Every time you do a briefing with a student, you're actually reinforcing the ideas of flight into your own brain. Yes, even though you're teaching someone else how to fly an airplane, you're actually getting to be a better pilot yourself. So being a flight instructor is a relatively fun and easy way to build your flying hours. Another great thing about being a flight instructor is that you're home every single day, versus when you're an airline pilot, you're gone for 4 days to a week. Now, without further ado, let's look at the cost to be a Class 4 instructor.
The total cost for dual in a Cessna 172 with a flight instructor is $7,800. The cost for the ground school is $2,600. The cost for the flight test, including renting the airplane with an examiner as well as the examiner fees, is $800, and the cost for the books is about $200. That brings the total flight instructor rating cost to $11,400.
Some of the cons of being a flight instructor is that it's not for everyone. If you especially don't like talking to other people or teaching in general, you're going to hate being a flight instructor. And then I don't recommend you being a flight instructor at all. In my case, I absolutely love teaching. Another con about being a flight instructor is that the pay is usually not that great for the entire time you're an instructor. You're usually making anywhere from $25,000, $35,000 a year for the time that you are a flight instructor. And so most people are not career flight instructors. As soon as they get their 1,000 hours to 1,500 hours, they're out of there. And finally, the biggest con about being a flight instructor is that you actually don't want to have too many hours as a flight instructor. Let's put the ball in your court. If you were a pilot in charge of hiring, would you rather choose the pilot that has 3,000 hours of flight instructing time, or the pilot that has 3,000 hours flying a turbine airplane, either a turboprop or a jet airplane? Obviously, the pilot has real-world flying experience flying into weather and dealing with passengers flying a turbine airplane. So being a flight instructor is not a bad thing. I myself started as a flight instructor. I know many other people start as a flight instructor. You build your hours really quickly, but I wouldn't stay very long as a flight instructor if you can avoid it. I think the sweet spot is to have between 1,000 to 1,500 hours as a flight instructor or less, and then you need to move on to the regionals as soon as possible. Now in Canada, the terms for flight instructor is completely different than the terms they use in the United States, for example. In the United States, they use terms such as CFI, CFAAA as a flight instructor, versus in Canada, we have 4 classes of flight instructor. You start off as a Class 4 flight instructor, then a Class 3 flight instructor, a Class 2 flight instructor, and then finally as a Class 1 instructor. And each step of the way as you move up to the flight instructor ranks, you have to prove that you can teach students well by the way of their results. You must have a certain amount of students pass a certain amount of exams. And the benefit to that is that your hourly rate increases as you move up. You also get different responsibilities as you move up from a Class 4 all the way to a Class 1 instructor. When you're a Class 4 instructor, you're always under supervision of another flight instructor. You always have to have someone else double check your work. You always have to report to another flight instructor because you're still new. And when you get all the way to the top as a Class 1 flight instructor, you actually have the ability now to train new flight instructors. I personally finished my flight instructing career as a Class 2 flight instructor. I did all the training required to be a Class 1 instructor. I booked the test, but then I got a call to join a regional airline, so I canceled my flight instructor Class 1 test. Maybe one day I'll go back and do the test and become a Class 1 instructor just for fun. As always, guys, if you like this type of video, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you next time.